Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. After all the price action that we saw over the weekend with Bitcoin, we do need to do an update on Solana. I'll talk about the levels that we're currently holding that are looking pretty good. We'll pay attention on some liquidation levels that are pretty standing out, and we'll look into some news as well. Guys, if you like this type of content, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell to get notified every time I put out one of these videos. My last update on Solana was 5 days ago. Solana at that point was holding the ground, but not that far really with the puke that we just had on Bitcoin on Sunday. Solana did some damage, but I have to say that the damage, if you watch my video about Sui, has been less significant. Therefore, it's actually looking pretty bullish where we are. Let me expand on that. If you look at the trading range in the past weeks for Solana, we have been to highs of almost $300 and to lows of 94. That's a huge $200 range, but most of the trading has happened between $128 and the $200. That's of course way less, just a $70 trading range that we have been respecting multiple times. We actually tend to bounce a lot between 128 and 170, 180. Recently, I was calling out for the resistance of 180 in recent videos. We couldn't manage to get beyond that, and we got a retracement. That 180 is less than a golden pocket. Golden pocket will have been to conquer somewhere around the $200 in this area in here. Instead of that, we got an initial pullback. But this pullback has me pretty happy actually, because we're going straight into a golden pocket. Actually, we pinch outside, but we are bouncing perfectly at the level of 618, which is 130. We talked about last week, 130, 140, and we should be happy. Very interesting that Solana didn't really want to exit below this support. Compared to Sui didn't behave that well. Yeah, we went already 67% down, so maybe that's kind of helping because there has been already a considerable retracement, so maybe that's why the ones we are getting now are a little bit more mild. As I said 5 days ago, what we need to do is defend 130 to 140, bounce right where we are, and head up for the next wave up. That wave up ideally should conquer the golden pocket of the total retracement, which is located from 200 to 220. By getting there, things start flipping bullish. So if you are already in a position, maybe hold on for a little bit longer to your position if we get there. If you couldn't manage to enter at the lows, at an additional risk cost, you can enter somewhere around 130. Of course, always managing your risk because these lows can be taken if Bitcoin misbehaves. Things that are against Solana at the moment. We are at the very highs of levels of longs. They're very persistent, very sticky. Price comes back down, but they re-enter. There is a bullishness around Solana, and the problem with that is that you really need to manage your risk because you are in an overcrowded coin at the moment. And if you don't believe me, look at the Solana social dominance. We are at 18.42% of social dominance. This stinks of retail, okay? They do not get a shower. You know, you go out to the street and you can pretty much tell who the hell is holding Solana these days. 18.40, okay, that's an all-time high in social dominance. Crazy. So the two indicators are confirming we are overcrowded, and the technicals are looking good because we're holding the right place. That's contributing to the bullishness, but urgently we need to overcome 180 and go to $200 really to do something. Otherwise, this still is in the territory of an ugly dead cat bounce. Break 130, very likely that we take $100. Now, let me show you those liquidation levels to the downside so you can magnify what is your risk. All this retail that just enter, they are degens. They enter with high leverage. We know who they are. We know their names. We know their addresses, and they enter and they place their risk at $121. Unfortunately, that is too close to the price right now, and I'm a little bit worried that any rejection from 140 when we try to reclaim the neckline could send us next into 120. Nothing is guaranteed. We might never go there, but you know, there's something heavy hanging, you know, it might bother you in the way home. So the technical target of a head and shoulders on Solana is $100. Okay, that's the pain in the ass for Solana at the moment. As I say, I don't think we're gonna fulfill technical targets of these head and shoulders that we're currently seeing. I am more supportive of moves like we have seen now, and then a reclaim of neckline, and then going into 191. Particularly on Solana, we are leaving such a big liquidity there that it will be a shame that we don't take it and that we have to go with all that burden in our back. So whatever you do, please do not put your account liquidation next to this. Don't contribute to the stinkiness on the street. The technical target overlaps with liquidation levels at $100 that we could say are around two-thirds of what we can see at 120. We just took 140 and all that thing that is what I was calling the low-hanging fruit. But during this period from beginning of June into now, there's been tons of retail that are spoiling the move up, with the long-short ratio being extremely high and the all-time highs of social dominance. So what is calling the attention of investors in Solana as of today? We can see we have two bullish news and a bearish. I suspect the bearish is probably related to TA. We'll see. Fiserv to launch 5 USD stablecoin on Solana. Mainstream fintech with 3K US banks brings enterprise-grade payment flows to Solana. Fresh institutional rails historically correlate with sustained bid pressure. Circle rolls out CCTP v2 on Solana for instant native USDC bridging. One-click USDC teleport removes friction on the bridge, boosting DEX's volume and total value lock potential. Tighter spreads favor higher Solana throughput fees. And on the bearish side, with a 3 out of 10, Solana price on the brink of 30% crashing coming as 2.5 billion flees the network. Large capital outflows plus bearish momentum signal rise odds of a plunge towards 100 to 126 area. So update on Solana in a nutshell. Very simple. This currently move up that we experienced from the beginning of June into now has attracted a lot of flies to the shed. It's stinking like hell, and there's so much retail at the moment in here that we are seeing all-time highs in attention on Solana. That is not necessarily the best entry that you can think of. Sometimes retail can drive this thing a bit higher, put in new highs and stuff like that, but it's never long-lived. Smart money starts pulling during a period like this out, particularly if the prices start pushing higher. So watch out if we hold 130 and we were to go into 200s. If the situation continues like this, there might be a rug pull in the way, not necessarily the end of everything. Remember, this channel covers swing trades, not just investing, so I'm not talking for the end of Solana. So if you get confused, many of the data that we're covering here is to do with how things are looking in the short to medium term. Hit the like if you like this type of analysis to continue coming into the channel. The more likes, the more updates that we're gonna get, and feel free to suggest the coin that you want me to cover. Stay away from those crappy coins that don't even have 1 week of being listed, of course. See you on the next one. Bye bye.